On the news, Kaduna State Governor Uba Sani says defense headquarters claim about terrorists embedded among civilians careless. House of Representatives to look into controversies surrounding Nigeria air project. And professionals call for deliberate actions and policies to mitigate brain drain in Nigeria. Many thanks for joining us on News Now on TV 360 Nigeria. I'm Tamilore Akinkulie. Kaduna State Governor Uba Sani has expressed disagreement with the claims made by the Defense Headquarters DHQ regarding the recent airstrike in the Tundu Biri community. The DHQ had attributed the air raid to the presence of terrorists embedded themselves among civilians, leading to the tragic incident on Sunday that resulted in over 120 deaths and numerous injuries in the Igabi local government area. In response to the DHQ statement, Governor Sani criticized the characterization of terrorists within the community as careless, emphasized the need for verification before making such assertions, particularly considering the gravity of the situation. And in a strategic shift, Procter & Gamble (P&G), a major player in the U.S. consumer goods industry, has announced its decision to cease manufacturing operations in Nigeria and transition into import-only activities. The multinational corporation outlined plans for a comprehensive operational restructuring in certain markets, along with the devaluation of its Gillette business, anticipating approximately $2.5 billion in charges over the next 2 years. Having maintained the presence in Nigeria for 3 decades, P&G had operated manufacturing plants in Ibadan, Oyo State, and Agbara, Ogun State. This move by P&G aligns with the pattern observed in the industry, as evidenced by British pharmaceutical giant GSK's recent decision to terminate manufacturing operations in Nigeria, opting for a third-party distribution model. Now, joining me to discuss more on the exit of international companies in Nigeria is Dr. Irewolede Bello. Thank you for joining us. Now, a few months ago, GSK announced it was leaving the country to adopt a distributor-led model using third party. Now, another multi-organization, P&G, is leaving. Now, GSK's exit is already telling on the prices of drugs. What exactly is happening?
Thank you very much, Tamilore. Thank you for having me in your studio. Essentially, one would just see this as a report card of years of maybe non-paying attention and poor financial policy, coupled with the Forex, which was quoted as the official cost of the departure of GSK, and the devaluation of the Naira in an import-based economy like ours. So what we are getting is the resultant effect of all of these things playing out together. And if care is not taken, you can see many more multinational companies leaving the country because they cannot just cope with the Forex, the volatility of getting the dollars, which our economy is based on, and everything that is happening is actually making it so difficult to maintain production and break even as a business person in this current economy. And so this is the reality that we are seeing with all of these companies, and there's a fear that many more may also leave if care is not taken.
All right, so if pharmaceutical products are beyond reach for an average Nigerian, what should the government be doing at this time to avert breakdown in the health sector?
Thank you once again for that question. And I would say categorically, there is the best time for us to have started was maybe a few years back, and the next best time is now. We must realize as a country that what we are currently practicing, our strong reliance on importation, cannot work. It's not working. It has not worked anywhere in the world, and it's not working in our nation. So we must be looking at developing our own indigenous companies, our own indigenous pharmaceuticals. They must be coming up with their own molecules, coming up with their own drug formulation that will be highly effective. So if you ask me what the government should do, one is to find a way to support these local companies, these local pharmaceuticals, to produce indigenous drugs that will come at a cheaper cost. They should give them a business-friendly environment that will give them an opportunity. You can give them tax holidays, you can give them loans at very low interest rates to help them develop their drugs. Then the other thing again is that government must ensure that practitioners like us begin to have confidence in this locally made products, because we realize that one of the challenges we have is because even though we know that our regulatory bodies like the NAFDAC and other regulatory bodies, they are trying their best, but they still need to do more. There are a lot of adulterated and fake drugs available, and that's why people want to go for the branded drugs. People want to go for drugs that you can testify to their quality and their efficacy, especially when it comes to patient management. So for this kind of situation, it's time where these regulatory bodies will now be very strenuous, and they will not be very diligent with their assignment, looking out to ensure that every molecule we have in circulation, as much as is possible, is delivering what it promised, both in efficacy and both in the composition of what it has promised to the populace. And with that, it begins to grow the interest of the practitioner, even in this drug products, and then it can facilitate our prescription. We can also incorporate indigenous drug in the national insurance scheme, as we also look to extend the net of that insurance scheme to cover up for more people. And this makes this drug affordable. It helps the business people to recover their own money, the money that they have invested in this business. And at the end result is that the masses, the citizens, are able to get quality drug at affordable prices. Thank you very much.
Medical practitioner Dr. Irewolide Bello, thank you for joining us. Moving on, the Nigerian Senate has expressed concerns over the reported inhuman treatment of inmates by officers of the Nigerian Correctional Service. These concerns were raised during a series of inquiries directed at the Correctional Service officers during the 2024 budget hearing with the National Assembly Joint Committees on Interior. Adams Oshiomole, representing Edo North, specifically sought a detailed breakdown of the current inmate population and security dogs, along with the information on the daily feeding routines for the inmates. The inquiry suggested a keen interest in understanding the conditions and resources within the correctional facilities.
We have seen the visuals. So it is not correct to tell us that you feed prisoners 3 times a day with 750. How? And you are listing tomatoes. I bought tomatoes yesterday. You are talking about beans. I bought beans the day before yesterday. You talk about rice. I bought rice last week. And I know the price.
Yes.
It's not only senator that I buy. Even you are buying. Looking at you, you look more better fed than us. Maybe because we are overworked here. So you all know the price of this item. So how can you look us eye to eye and tell us that you feed a man, a Nigerian, awaiting trial or even convicted with 750 naira a day, 3 times? What is the bottle of water? What is the cost? This water. They are entitled not just to water, they are entitled to clean water. This water is not a luxury. We are taking it because we assume it is clean and it doesn't carry waterborne diseases. So they are entitled to clean water.
The House of Representatives has said it would investigate the controversy surrounding the launch of the proposed national carrier Nigeria Air by the immediate past administration. The chairman of the House Committee on Aviation Technology, Abiodun Akinlade, expressed worry at recent air incidents in the country and said the committee will collaborate with airline operators of Nigeria and regulatory authorities to hold a town hall meeting on safety issues in the sector. There are more details in this next report.
The inaugural meeting of the Committee on Aviation and Aerospace Technology avails it the opportunity to give Nigerians a hint on the direction to be going in safeguarding Nigeria airspace.
The committee is highly concerned and worried
at the recent various air crashes in Nigeria. We will, with the support of airline operators of Nigeria, the regulatory authorities, organize an high-tech stakeholders town hall meeting to look into the causes of the air crashes and other safety abnormalities at our various airports. Our air must be safe for all. I repeat, our air must be safe for all to fly. The Committee of Aviation, in conjunction with the House Committee of Aviation Technology, will look into the controversy surrounding the Launch Nigeria Air project and inform Nigerians accordingly.
In another development, the House of Committee on FCT Area Council and Ancillary Matters said the committee shall pay attention to all sectors under its mandates, particularly agriculture, cultural festivals, resettlement schemes, satellite town development, as it concerns the indigents and residents of the FCT.
Chieftaincy development in the area councils, improved revenue drive, inter-house sports in schools to identify and develop talents, as well as education and health development. In all, as a committee, we shall take our oversight functions seriously to improve service delivery.
In a related development, the member representing Amagbori Federal Constituency, Joshua Ubika, appealed to President Tinubu for the creation of a special security intervention fund for the complete overhaul of FCT security architecture. Ubika stated this during a press briefing in Abuja.
They should be required to install necessary electronic security surveillance gadgets in and around their places of business, and as well as cater for the patrol by the security operatives with light arms, like the Civil Defense Corps. As we enter into the festive season, there is no doubt that crime is likely to spike. I appeal to the FCT Minister and the relevant security agencies to beef up security surveillance in the territory.
Other areas highlighted that require urgent intervention in the FCT, according to lawmakers, include education sector reform, health, urban transportation, rural infrastructure, housing, environment, amongst others.
About a year ago, the president of the Nigerian Medical Association made a stunning announcement. The 5,600 Nigerian medical doctors have migrated to the United Kingdom in the last 8 years. As Nigeria continues to lose her human capital to developed countries through brain drain, a cross-section of professionals wants the government and the private sector to be deliberate and intentional about creating policies that will mitigate this trend, which has adverse effect on national development. TV3 Sisters correspondent Jide Olaniran has details in this next report.
In an unusual manner, the discourse for the night was preceded by a documentary screening to set the tone for the usual stake, which is about Nigeria's brain drain challenge. The perspective for the night did not tilt to the gloomy side, but to how Nigeria can take advantage of our avalanche of human capital in the diaspora.
The only thing that we can do is probably to help them. Make sure that their journey is protected, because too many people lost their lives on their journey out. But another thing that we should do is probably keep in touch with them, making sure they remain connected with their motherland, making sure they integrate fast and well where they're going, so that they can do what they were taught to do. Because one thing that can be worse than brain drain is brain waste.
Ngozi Omambala returned to Nigeria from the UK 17 years ago, but despite her occasional struggle with the system, passion and patriotism have kept her going.
In terms of the Lagos Chamber, I've had to really relaunch so that we can connect with the youth. And the Lagos Chamber is 135 years old, and it's a very strong institution with a lot of influence. Recognizing that the creative entertainment sector is a viable industry has been, a challenge, because you're dealing with traditional people within the sector.
While the likes of Ngozi have stuck to their guns by not checking out, the situation has made others to seek golden fleece.
do with the brain drain. One is the private sector playing an active role in the economy, thriving, because when the private sector thrives, jobs are created, tax is paid, services are provided, and the resources can be invested in health and education, which is what we saw in the documentary. So the answer is yet, not directly so, but wholesomely so.
The mass exodus of talented Nigerians has also put the human resources of most organizations in dilemma.
Right, because one of the things that we fail to identify with the brain drain is replacing extremely talented and skilled professionals with average and in some cases mediocre talent. Individuals that ordinarily, one way or the other, are not playing at the highest level. Because whether you like it or not, when you look at what they call the bell curve, there are some that are the very exceptional, there are some that are the very poor, and then you have the individuals that is the bulk in the middle.
At the subnational level, Lagos has created a diaspora unit to woo Nigerians back home to invest in the development of the city.
To attract all the investments and the potential to the diaspora, the historic, the Nigerian, and even those that share affinity with Nigeria, so Lagos can benefit as we add value to them too.
Colin Akpakunam is the creator of the documentary on brain drain, who thinks the troubling challenge should be taken on through concerted efforts.
In our own time, when our parents sent us to school abroad, it was to acquire more knowledge so we could come back and get the plum jobs. But when you juxtapose that with today's trend of young graduates taking off, I immediately knew that it was becoming a problem and something needed to be done. So in telling this story, I wanted the government to, and the private sector to take a look at the problem of brain drain and then try and formulate policies to reverse the trend.
Blame game will not stop brain drain. It is time the government and the private sector began to domesticate the pull factors luring our talents away. Jide Olaniro, TV 360 Lagos.
The Nigerian Navy has arrested 17 people said to be engaged in the illegal siphoning of crude oil in Ondo State. According to the Rear Admiral Mustafa Hassan, the flag officer commanding Western Naval Command, the suspects were nabbed at the forward operating base in Bokoda in the early hours of Thursday. According to him, the vessel's storage capacity is about 15,000 metric tons, and as at the time of arrest, it had loaded about 500 metric tons of crude oil.
The vessel involved in the alleged illegal bunkering off the coast of Ondo State. We have 17 suspects here, all Nigerians, and we have an idea of who owns the ship and where he is based. We have some other intelligence which will help in locating the person. We also have the name of the loader, the person that works on the platform here, that assisted in tying the hoses and all. That's the insider that took part in the crime. We hope to see this case to a logical conclusion and help save the losses we incur daily through oil theft. The vessel was found to have been tied both port and starboard and being loaded by very heavy pipes. So far from estimates, it has about 5,000 tons loaded already. They were stopped in the process. It takes almost 100,000 barrels of crude. So about 14 of these will empty the produced crude of Nigeria in one day. This alludes to the fact that we've been bandying around earlier that most of the oil theft witnessed in Nigeria is offshore.
We'll take a break here, but still to come, Belgium, Germany and Netherlands submit joint bid to host 2027 Women's World Cup. Details of the story right after this break. Welcome back. Here's a quick recap of our top stories. Kaduna State Governor Uba Sani has expressed disagreement with the claims made by the Defense Headquarters DHQ regarding the recent airstrike in the Tundubiri community. The DHQ had attributed the air raid to the presence of terrorists embedding themselves among civilians, leading to the tragic incident on Sunday that resulted in over 120 deaths and numerous injuries in the Igabi local government area. In response to the DHQ statement, Governor Sani criticized the characterization of terrorists within the community as careless. We also told you that the House of Representatives has said it will investigate the controversies surrounding the launch of the proposed national carrier Nigeria Air by the immediate past administration. The chairman of the House Committee on Aviation Technology, Abiodun Akinlade, expressed worry at the recent air incidents in the country and said the committee will collaborate with the airline operators of Nigeria and regulatory authorities to hold a town hall meeting on safety issues in the sector. Now, in case you missed any of the news bulletin or for more updates, you can catch us on Lime's World TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store and Huawei App Gallery. On Facebook, we are TV360 Online. It's time for business news. Let's now join Simisola Adigun for the latest. Over to you, Simi.
Thank you very much, Tamilore. Welcome to Business News. In a significant development in the oil and gas sector, President Bola Tinubu has conveyed optimism regarding increased investments from Shell Petroleum Development Company of Nigeria. On his part, Zoe Unovich, representing Shell Group, reiterated the company's commitment to sustaining its legacy of investment in Nigeria, highlighting Shell's strategic focus on exploring new opportunities in the deep water and gas sector. He also announced a forthcoming $5 billion investment in the Bonga North project situated in the deep waters off the shores of Nigeria. The Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has advocated a proactive collaboration between the government and market participants, emphasizing the crucial role this partnership plays in boosting market growth and fostering economic development. The call was made by the Director General of SEC, Lamido Yuguda, during his address at the Capital Market Correspondents Association of Nigeria, CAMCAN, held in Lagos. Represented by the Executive Commissioner of Operations, Dayo Bisan, Yuguda underscored the importance of an active engagement with market mechanisms and instruments to raise funds, thereby catalyzing economic advancement.
Issuing green and sustainability bonds to support sustainable projects, bolstering small and medium enterprises, championing financial inclusion initiatives, refining the regulatory framework, conducting comprehensive investor education and awareness campaigns, nurturing innovation in financial instruments, implementing robust monitoring and evaluation mechanisms, and actively seeking international collaboration. By adopting these strategic approaches, the government and market participants can create a dynamic capital market that attracts a diverse investment, fuel economic growth, and contributes significantly to national development goals.
The annual workshop is a part of our contributions to the development and growth of the nation's economy by bringing regulators, operators, and company executives to discuss economic issues that affect the market in particular and the economy in general.
Between the FMBQ and the NGX, and that's both for debt and equity, right? Long-term debt and equity are both on the long end, right? That's where a lot of work needs to be done to provide a lot more incentives for the corporates, the private sector, and on the government side to ensure that the enabling environment is there for those corporates and even investors for the long term.
We'll take a short break. A review of the stock market is up next. On Friday, the last weekday of trading, investors on the local bulls reversed previous day's losses, recording a positive close of 0.12%. The market's all-share index also ended at 71,457 basis points. Market breadth, however, closed on a negative note with 22 gainers against 35 losers. The market capitalization maintains the 39.1 trillion naira mark. Stocks like Multiverse Mining and Exploration and Infinity Trust Mortgage Bank led the gainers counter with a combined gain of 11 naira and 16 kobo. Now on Friday, investors exchanged a total of 503 million volume of shares valued at over 7 billion naira in 5,747 deals. For our select global stock, it's a mixed trading day on Friday. UK's FTSE and US Dow Jones, both equities traded high at 0.57% and 0.12%. Japan's Nikkei, however, had bearish trade ending at 1.68%. And that's it on the stock and business and stock market report. Back to you, Tamilore.
Thank you, Simi. Now moving on to the global scene, Russian President Vladimir Putin has officially announced his intention to seek a fifth term in office, confirming his candidacy during an award ceremony for participants in the war in Ukraine. The announcement comes shortly after the officials set the date for the presidential election, scheduled to take place from March 15 to March 17, 2024. Putin's re-election is widely perceived as inevitable given the limited opposition and extensive control he exerts over Russian media. At 71 years old, he has already surpassed the tenure of any ruler in Russia since Joseph Stalin. If successful in the upcoming election, Putin would maintain the president until at least 2030. Well, up next is Entertainment Reporter News Now. Popular Nigerian transgender personality Boogie has opened up about the harrowing aftermath of a botched cosmetic surgery that led to severe health complications. Speaking in an interview, Boogie disclosed that the situation had become so dire that he had to undergo daily dialysis just to pass urine. Sharing the emotional turmoil he faced, he revealed that at a point the online bullying and death threats became unbearable. The transgender figure admitted to contemplating death, lamenting the challenges and false narrative perpetuated by his friends who shared pictures of him in the hospital, claiming he needed public assistance for a kidney transplant. In sports, Belgium, Germany and the Netherlands have submitted a joint bid to FIFA to host the Women's World Cup in 2027, as announced by the Football Association of the three countries on Friday. This joint bid will compete with Brazil, which submitted its bid last month, and the United States and Mexico, who have already expressed interest in hosting the tournament. The deadline for member associations to submit their bid to FIFA was Friday, and South Africa, initially a contender, withdrew last month, opting to refocus and presenting a well-prepared bid for the 2031 edition. FIFA's next steps include organizing on-site inspection visits to the bidding countries in February, with the official announcement of the host scheduled to take place in May during the FIFA Congress. And that's all we can take on News Now. Many thanks for watching. I'm Tamilore Akinkulye. Bye for now.